Hi, my name is Nicole Naditz, and today I am giving you an updated tour of the new Google Classroom. The new Google Classroom was released on August 7th, and it's only been a little over a month, and they have already made some fabulous updates, so I need to completely replace the tour that I provided back on August 7th. So the dashboard looks pretty much the same, but I do want to draw your attention to the fact that if you click on the three dots for any one of your classes, you now have the additional option to copy a course. Some teachers might enjoy doing that toward the end of the year in order to be able to reuse the posts from that course when they teach it again next year. So if we open up one of the classes, as always, you can see Stream, followed by Classwork, followed by People. And you still have the Settings wheel. The settings wheel is still where you will be able to get access to your join code, whether you wish to simply copy it and send it off to people or display it in a presentation setting. This is also where you can edit the name of your course and add additional information. And as always, this is also where you can determine the permissions that your students have in the stream only. In order to exit this view, one last thing, and of course you can turn on or turn off for your class to be included in the Guardian email summaries that parents can receive. Click the X to exit that menu and to return back to the page for that particular class. If you wish to go back to the page with all of your classes, you can click on the three lines in the left, and then you can either click where it says classes or simply scroll down the list. If you click where it says classes, it brings you back to the home page with the tiles. So we're going to spend a couple minutes looking at what has happened in the stream. One of the changes that they made is they actually eliminated the plus button, which used to be how you created new content in the stream, and now you simply type where it says share something with your class. This is very similar to how most social media works, so I think this change will be pretty intuitive for most people. As before, you can attach a document or file from your computer, something from Google Drive, a YouTube video, or a link to any other online resource. And of course, once you type something, you can also choose between post, schedule, or save draft. Do note that the things you start typing in the stream do not automatically save a draft if you happen to close that window before you're done. Also, as always, you can determine which of your classes will receive that message, and if it is only for one class, you can determine which students in the class will receive that message. Also, please remember that scheduling a post only works if you are scheduling for one class, not for multiple classes. So reuse post is really useful for that as well. Let me cancel that. The way you reuse a post is instead of clicking where it says share something with your class, you click on the little symbol with the two arrows, and that will bring up first posts from the current class. But if that's not what you want, it brings you to all of your classes where you can select another post and choose to reuse that one. And when you say that you want to reuse it, it will actually simply open up the editing window. It will enable full access to everything in that post, including the scheduling options and what features are attached to it, so you can fully edit everything there. Now, if we move over to classwork, we at first had the option to create a topic, an assignment, or a question. But since the release of the major update on August 7th, they have also now added the ability to create material. This is in response to huge demand by teachers who wanted to be able to post material aligned to a topic so that students could easily access and even find resources that are associated with those topics. So when you or your students look at Google Classroom, you will see that they have icons. This is what an assignment looks like. This is what a question looks like if you have shared a question. And if you do material, you can see that it will have a different little icon. So if I wanted to share something from Common Sense Media to the topic digital citizenship, I can go ahead and create a new topic, but I already have a digital citizenship topic, and I'm just going to I'm going to go grab their link really quickly and grab that and put that into Classroom. So if we do this, and as soon as it opens, I'll go ahead and grab the link to that, and I'm going to post that in Digital Citizenship as a link. I'm going to say add link, and then I can post that to Google Classroom under Digital Citizenship. And when I do, you'll now see that there is an icon for an assignment, an icon for material, and I still have icons for questions and even things I have scheduled to appear at a later date, which are not visible yet to my participants or my students. So that is how you create a material or a resource that doesn't have a due date assigned to it. It's a resource for your students to access. Question and assignment are very similar. You will notice they have points assigned to them, so most teachers want to change that either to a lower number or simply to ungraded. Whether or not you give a due date is up to you. Whether or not you assign a topic is also up to you. Whether or not the students can reply to each other is currently defaulted to on. Do remember that their name and their ID will be associated with that response, but there is no moderation. In other words, it will be visible to students right away. And whether or not students can edit the answer after posting is defaulted to off. You can change that if you would like to give your students the opportunity to adjust their response if they notice a typo or if their thinking evolves over the course of that online discussion. Those features go away if you change it to multiple choice because there is really nothing to reply to. And if you're going to do that, you would still type your question. Instructions are optional. Do all of those settings and then provide a choice for option 1, option 2, option 3, and so on. And if you make a mistake, you can simply X out of those options. And you can decide if students will be able to see a summary of how the class has responded without any names after they submit their response. You can also, of course, turn that off. And once you have begun typing, you will begin to have the options also to schedule that question to appear at a particular time or date, or to save the draft of that. And as always, you can choose which class, and if it's just one class, you can choose which students. Remember again that scheduling can only be done for one class at a time. So if you want to schedule it for multiple classes, create it in one class first, and then when you're done, go to create and choose reuse post, grab that question and reuse it in another class. That will reopen all of the editing capacity, including the ability to schedule a date for that post. Lastly, I wanted to note, in case you hadn't noticed in the new Google Classroom, when you create a topic, that's how you get these headers to appear. These headers are movable, so you can move them down, or if they're lower down, you can move them up. And everything within the topic can also be moved up or down. And a topic will not appear to students until you as the teacher have posted a question, an assignment, or a piece of material into that topic. So you can create your topics for the whole year and students won't see them until you add something to them. In People, you can, of course, access all of your students. You can choose a particular student and then select an action that you need to do. If you mute them, you are muting them from the stream. They can still reply to questions. Also in People is where you can invite a co-teacher, and depending on the domain in which you are using this, this is also where you can invite students, for example, via email to join your Google class. The other nice thing about People is, and this class doesn't, these are adults and they didn't have to do any work, so they probably won't have any, but if you click on a student's name, you can actually check and see that student's work history in terms of what is assigned, what is missing, what's been returned with a grade, and you can also filter just by missing, just by turned in, and just by returned with a grade. So as the year goes on, I think a lot of teachers are going to find that really helpful. To get out of this screen, click the back arrow in the upper left corner. That will bring you back to that particular student, and then click on the title of the class to go back to kind of the home page of that class. I hope you have found this tour helpful. Coming soon in Google Classroom is the ability to create an assignment with a lockdown Google Forms quiz that students will have to complete only in that browser if they are working in Chrome browser. So do remember, this will not be effective if they are on devices where they can choose a different browser, but Google Classroom will be releasing sometime this fall an update to the assignments page where when they create the assignment, they will be given the option to create a lockdown Google Forms quiz that will restrict students to only being in that tab with the Google form. and will not allow them to browse to other tabs. So I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you very much for your attention. Please feel free to leave comments or questions. Bye.